Family is the first agent of socialization. What constitutes family is also socially constructed and may or may not exclusively refer to blood relatives. Family may include neighbors and or close friends, but more typically includes parents, siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. These family members teach a child what he or she needs to know. For example, they show the child how to use objects such as clothes, computers, eating utensils, books, or bikes. How to relate to others, some as family, others as friends, still others as strangers or teachers or neighbors. And how the world works, what is real and what is imagined. As you are aware, either from your own experience as a child and or from your role in helping to raise one, socialization includes teaching and learning about an unending array of objects and ideas.
Peer groups.
A peer group is made up of people who are similar in age and social status and who share interest. Peer group socialization begins in the earliest year, such as when kids on a playground teach younger children the norms about taking turns. As children grow into teenagers, this process continues. Peer groups are important to adolescents in a new way. As they begin to develop an identity separate from their parents or exert independence. Additionally, peer groups provide their own opportunities for socialization. Since kids usually engage in different types of activities with their peers than they do with their families.
Education.
Education, discipline that is concerned with methods of teaching and learning in schools or school-like environments as opposed to various non-formal and informal means of socialization. Education can be thought of as the transmission of the values and accumulated knowledge of a society. A society becomes ever more complex and school become ever more institutionalized. Educational experience becomes less directly related to daily life, less a matter of showing and learning in the context of the workaday world, and more abstracted from practice, more a matter of distilling, telling, and learning things out of context. This concentration of learning in a formal atmospheres allows children to learn far more of their culture than they are able to do by merely observing and imitating. As society gradually attach more and more importance to education, it also tries to formulate the overall objectives, content, organization, and strategies of education. Literature becomes laden with advice on the rearing of the younger generation. In short, there develop philosophies and theories of education.
Mass media.
Mass media distribute impersonal information to a wide audience via television, newspaper, radio, and the internet, with the average person spending over 4 hours a day in front of the television and children averaging even more screen time. Media greatly influenced social norms, Roberts, Fear, and Rideout 2005. People learn about objects of material culture like new technology and transportation options, as well as non-material culture, what is true beliefs, what is important values, and what is expected norms.
Theories.
George Herbert Mead's social self theory is a concept in sociology that explains how individuals develop a sense of self through their interaction with others. Mead believed that the self is not there from birth, but rather emerges through social interaction and the relationship with others. According to Mead, the self is composed of two aspects, that I and the me. The I refers to the impulsive and instinctual aspect of the self, driven by desires, needs, and impulses, while the me represents the rational, reflective, and deliberative aspects of the self, shaped by the social norms, values, and expectations.
Glass self. Self-image.
Cooley's looking glass self theory states that a person develops their self-image based on the responses of others as well as their perception of how others see and judge them. A person's perception of how others see them can result from both verbal and nonverbal responses from others. Verbal responses include comments made by others, whereas nonverbal responses may include body language such as smiling. Geert Hofstede created the Hofstede's Cultural Dimensions Theory, a framework for understanding how cultures differ between societies. Hofstede's initial three key dimensions include uncertainty avoidance, masculinity, femininity, and short versus long-term orientation. The first dimension is the Uncertainty Avoidance Index. This shows how much a society's members try to reduce confusions in order to deal with their worry. Society that puts strict rules and regulations has low confidence in taking risk and uncertainty and has a high Uncertainty Avoidance Index. In contrast, societies that have low uncertainty avoidance have more confidence in taking risk and uncertainty. They are more adaptable of change. The second dimension is the femininity and masculinity, also known as gender differentiation, is how the society upholds the idea of what it means to be man and woman. A masculine society values assertiveness, courage, strength, and competition in contrast. A feminine society values cooperation, nurturing, and quality of life. The third dimension is the long-term and short-term orientation. It refers to the extent to which cultures promote postponing satisfaction of members' material, social, and emotional demands. Long-term oriented societies put more emphasis on the future and prioritize long-term success over short-term gains. In contrast, a culture that is short-term oriented emphasizes current events over the future and aims to provide short-term satisfaction or success.
Individualism.
Individualist cultures stress the importance of each person taking care of themselves without depending on others for assistance. People from individualist societies have self-concepts that are more focused on independence rather than interdependence. As a result, they tend to describe themselves in terms of their unique personal characteristics and traits. Individualist culture can have both strengths and weaknesses.
Collectivism.
Collectivism refers to a worldview in which social behavior is guided largely by goals that are shared by collective, such as a family, tribe, work group, or political or religious association. Interdependence and group solidarity are valued. The in-group creates norms, goals, and beliefs that are enculturated and endorsed by its members. When conflicts arise between group goals and personal goals, a person is expected to act in the best interest of the group.
Gender role.
Gender role, a culturally and socially determined set of expected behaviors, attitudes, and characteristics based on the concept of masculinity and femininity. A gender role should not be confused with gender identity, which refers to an individual's internal sense of being masculine, feminine, on a spectrum between the two. A gender unrelated to that binary or no gender at all. Societal expectation encompass the collective beliefs, norms, and standards that society holds regarding ethical behavior, responsibility, and conduct from individuals and organizations.